What is the most ridiculous thing you've ever had to deal with at work? A co-worker attempted to prove that you couldn't actually hurt yourself slipping on a banana peel by stepping on one. After which he slipped and hurt himself. I refused to write it up as an incident. It was too stupid. I work in influencer marketing and we hired an Instagram influencer to work on a yogurt brand campaign. As part of the activation we also sent a tie-dye kit and branded swag for them to make tie-dye shirts, hats, etc., with their friends or family. One of the influencers pulled the tie-dye ink out of the t-shirt kit and used it to tie-dye her yogurt bowl, took a video of herself eating it, then shared the video with her followers who ultimately alerted her that you can't eat tie-dye ink. This was, of course, our fault, the agency, for not being more clear that the tie-dye kit was not edible. TLDR hired someone who ate paint. Can I get a cheeseburger with no cheese? Yeah sure, a hamburger. No. That's not what I asked for. Huh? You heard me. What? I said I want a cheeseburger with no cheese. Yes, that's called a hamburger. You're not listening to me, get me a fucking cheeseburger with no cheese. A cheeseburger with no cheese is called a hamburger. No it isn't. What do you mean no it isn't? I don't want a hamburger. I said I want a fucking cheeseburger with no cheese. Fuck this, I give up. Right, okay, here you go. Someone who clips their nails at their desk and someone who farts non-stop and had violent outbursts at their desk to themselves. One week my boss told me that I was talking too much with my coworker on my downtime when not with customers, so next week we weren't talking unless with a customer, and then I was pulled aside and asked why we weren't interacting the team and if everything was okay. So contradicting. Worked at a grocery store. Customer's dog takes a shit at the front of the store by the registers. He stands there while I'm cleaning it, and the dog takes a second shit as I'm cleaning the first. As I'm cleaning the second shit, the dog then pukes. As I'm cleaning that, the owner pats the dog on the head saying good boy. He was trespassed after, so at least there's that. When I worked in the NHS, I had to take part in an investigation about a POO on the floor in a community hospital. A patient had missed the bog, so it sat steaming on the floor. The nurse said, too busy, can't clean that up, get the cleaner. Cleaner said can't touch that, it's biological waste. Went back to nurse who said find a healthcare assistant. Healthcare assistant said can't do it, haven't been signed off on the infection control policy. Escalated to sister who said the student nurse should do it. Student nurse vomited and ran out crying. I was in the building at the time and heard all the fuss. Thought FFS and cleaned it up myself. Got reported as I was just a manager and not clinical. Currently as of now, supervisor tests positive for COVID and quarantines from home. 3 days later, emails everyone saying that she will be back in the office that afternoon to help out. Why would you come back to the office if you tested positive to begin with? I worked at Uncle Buck's in a Bass Pro. For those of you that don't know, it's a bowling alley / restaurant. One night a group of people come in to celebrate their friend's 27th birthday. After another host and I set them up at a lane, the manager comes over to tell us that they are getting a warning because she caught a few of them on camera pissing on the side of the building before they came in. And that's not even the worst of it. Sometime later I receive a call at the front desk from the police saying that they were outside, would like to speak to the manager. Turns out the manager caught the party doing coke in the bathroom. A few people in the party were detained and one tried to fight a cop. The rest that were left alone started raging. They started screaming slurs, smashed glasses and plates, stuck ketchup in the bowling balls and even tried to grab me over the counter. It's the only time I ever felt unsafe at work. Co-worker out for 6 weeks on medical. Management wouldn't hire a temp. They would help me. So I spent time training. They spent very little time helping. I had to recheck everything they did because they screwed up. Then people complained and I got written up for being behind in my duties. For those of you in the know, that usually means a change is coming and that notice in your file can be used against you. I was aware of this and started cleaning my desk, leaving instructions on how to handle certain clients, cause why should they get screwed? We very shortly had a downsizing and I was laid off after 10 years. I was measuring noise next to a house of a random person. I asked the owner of that house if it was okay to put my equipment next to his house. I was expecting a, yeah sure go ahead. Instead the dude just told me his life story. Told me about his father passing away recently, him being single, mom had dementia and cousin was at the hospital because he had been hit by car. I had a short window of time to get my work done and I had to have complete silence for 15 minutes. I would tell him politely to shut it for 15 minutes, but after 5 minutes he would just start telling me about some miserable thing about his life and showing pics of his father. Then he wanted me to drink a beer with him. I said I was working and driving and I couldn't. He didn't understand that and kept insisting. I just wanted him to go away so that I could finish the measurement, so I said sure. Dude went to get the beer and gave it to me. When he wasn't looking I was spilling it on the floor so that he would think I was drinking with him. When I was leaving I said I had to come back again at midnight. He said he would be ready with some dinner for me. I showed up at 1 a.m. to avoid it. I felt bad for him, but Jesus Christ, I just wanted to get my work done so I could sleep. Some random dude took a dump in the floor of where I work. I had to clean it up and he was effectively banned from ever coming back. Woman demanded the people entombed above her husband be moved because they might leak on him. She has the second one from the bottom out of 5 levels. In one of the company's happy hours, things got a bit too wild and someone threw up on half of the office. No one wanted to handle it, so I and one of the HR interns had to explain the whole situation to upper management, while both of us weren't even there. From that day both of us became responsible for not letting things get out of hand. Had to deal with 2 employees fist fighting because one said something about the other's mama, grown-ass men. I'm a teacher, where do I start? More funny than anything. Shit came out the wall. Yes, I mean it literally. Someone had a diarrhea volcano go off in the bathroom at work and I was forced to clean it up because the guy whose actual job was to clean bathrooms just can't. I work in a doctor's office and the worst patient I've dealt with was one who refused to pay us. She was insistent that her insurance would cover everything since her card mistakenly read $0 copay. We called the insurance company multiple times to verify that they would not cover her appointment charge, and we sent records from her insurance company directly to her in order to prove this. She still refused to pay us after yelling at me for 5 minutes. All I could do was tell her to contact her insurance if she didn't want to pay. She proceeded to call me unprofessional and inconsiderate after her outburst before she stormed out. When I worked at a call center, I had one caller with a very thick Romanian accent who wanted me to remotely access his computer to help him set up his favorites on his internet browser. Of course, all his saved websites / favorites he had managed to save / unnecessary toolbars / everything was porn. I just showed him the button to add favorites and told him I couldn't help him any further. Edit. Oh, and all the calls about, "You're ruining my livelihood," when the horse racing channel wasn't covered anymore. Doing inventory of an industrial fabric plant and pulled out a single-sized mattress out of the middle of the racks. Pillow and little blanket included. Also that week of the inventory the chuckleheads that worked at that plant pierced the gray water, drinking water, and sprinkler lines in that order on different days with their awesome forklift skills. I had to build a 3,000 feet sidewalk leading to nowhere because of the ADA. It was a chemical storage plant being newly constructed. Everything was up to code. There was a trailer at the end of the property, and a handicapped spot next to the trailer. But no, that's not good enough. What if someone in a wheelchair was coming to the job site and they needed to wheel instead of taking a car? So we built this sidewalk 2,000 feet up to the gate. Not good enough. There's no sidewalk out front. What if they needed to wheel themselves down the sidewalk to the gate? So we get to the very edge of the property line, then cut off the sidewalk. Now we're good, since it's no longer along the property. It's a chemical plant, nobody in a wheelchair can work there. And if one came to visit, nobody in their right mind is magically spawning at the edge of this sidewalk and wheeling themselves 3,000 feet, when they could take their damn car and park 10 feet from our trailer. Had a day where I literally had back-to-back meetings for the entire day. The irony is that most of those meetings were to discuss when the actual work would get done. We can't do the work when we're in meetings all day. A co-worker routinely didn't flush after doing number 2 in the employee men's room. He just left it there in the toilet for all to see. The guy thought it was hilarious, especially when other employees would call him out on it. Christian co-workers. Man threw a temper tantrum over captions on his TV being turned on, and a woman throwing a similar tantrum because I gave her two $10 instead of a $20. I had someone throw a drink at me through the drive-through window, which is an unwise thing to do to someone standing in front of a shelf of other drinks waiting for the customers behind you. Close second, we had a guy that robbed our gas station for like a month with a finger gun before he finally got caught. Everyone knew it was a finger gun, but you have to comply when someone robs the store, so // ______/.